Welcome to the Word for 2021. Today we're in 2 Samuel chapter 7. David is now settled as king in Jerusalem. He's surrounded by peace all about him. While he's there in his palace, David is looking at paneled walls all about him. But then he thinks about the Ark of the Covenant, and it is still in a tent. So David has the idea to build God a temple. He goes to the prophet Nathan, and he says to him in verse 2, "Here I am, living in a palace of cedar, while the ark of God remains in a tent." The prophet Nathan, he responds to the king by saying, "Whatever you have in mind, go ahead and do it, for the Lord is with you." Now the prophet didn't pray first. He didn't ask God. It simply made sense to him. It was a good idea, and it was a good thing to do. So he told David, yes. Well, that night, the word of the Lord came to Nathan saying, "Go tell David, no, you will not be the one to build a house for me to dwell in." And then God even says, "I have never asked anyone, and I've never asked David to build a house for me. But since David wanted to bless me, I will bless David." And then God gives a prophecy. He gives 7 I wills to David. In those 7 I wills, God says, "I will make your name great. I will establish my people in their land. I will give them rest. I will establish your house, David, and I will raise up offspring to succeed you. I will establish a kingdom that is eternal, and I will establish your throne forever." In verse 16, God says, "Your house and your kingdom will endure forever before me, and your throne will be established forever." The prophecy that God was giving here in 2 Samuel chapter 7 was both partial and distant in its fulfillment. It was both present and future. David, his house was established. Solomon became the one to build a house for God. That was a son of David. But then Jesus is the ultimate fulfillment, the Son. Concerning the Son of David yet to come, or the Messiah, this is what Isaiah said. In chapter 7, verse 14, "A virgin will be with child and give birth to a son, and you will call him Emmanuel, God with us." And then in chapter 9, verses 6 and 7, God spoke through Isaiah and said, "For to us a son is born, for to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end." Then listen to what Isaiah said. "He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord will accomplish this." We read in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, a record of Jesus' genealogy. And this is what it says: a record of the genealogy of Jesus, the son of David. In Luke chapter 1, when Gabriel came and spoke to Mary, this is what he told Mary: "You will be with child and give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord will give him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever. His kingdom will never end." As another prophecy, God spoke through the prophet Jeremiah in chapter 23, verse 5. This is what God said: "The days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will raise up to David a righteous branch, a king who will reign wisely and do what is just and right in the land." Then in Revelation chapter 22, verse 16, Jesus said this: "I, Jesus, have sent my angel to give you this testimony for the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star." There are roughly 230 prophecies concerning the first coming of Jesus, the advent of the Messiah. But did you know that there are 8 times more prophecies referring to his second coming, the second coming of Jesus? Just as God's word came true at Christmas, Jesus came as Emmanuel, God with us. Jesus is coming again. We need to be ready. As we read 2 Samuel chapter 7, the prophecy came true. Jesus, the Son of David, came to save his people from their sins. Jesus is coming back. Again, the question is, are we ready? Thank you for joining the Word for 2021.